The court no longer explains assignments, it assumes competence. A nod replaces instruction, a pause replaces permission. You're trusted, which is flattering in the way locked doors are flattering. People speak freely around you now, which means you're expected to forget everything immediately. Deaths arrive with better timing. You learn when to suggest rest, when to encourage exertion, when to let pride do the heavy lifting. A joke circulates that the court should charge admission for coincidence. It gets a laugh. You notice who laughs the loudest and who does not laugh at all. You adjust accordingly. There's no ceremony for what you do. That would be gauche. Instead, there are efficiencies. Fewer witnesses, shorter conversations, a physician who prefers words like imbalance and chill, a clerk who writes faster when you're present. You're thanked for keeping things orderly. Orderly is the highest compliment available. Intimacy continues, but it is no longer instructional. It's logistical. You arrive, you perform, you depart. The humor here is practical. Someone once remarks that love complicates everything. You reply that complications are expensive. This is considered clever. You understand now that the court rewards reliability, not loyalty. Loyalty asks questions. Reliability delivers outcomes. You deliver outcomes. The punchline, which everyone shares quietly, is that normalization is safer than celebration. Celebrations invite stories. Stories invite audits, and audits invite names. You've learned to avoid all three. You're 26 and the court changes its mind without changing its face. Banners stay put, smiles stay practiced, but the rooms start favoring different people. You're reassigned with courtesy, which is how danger announces itself here. Courtesy means nothing's wrong and everything's changed. A new patron prefers different hours, different meals, and different confidences. You adapt because adaptation is in your resume. Briefings become shorter, jokes become thinner. Someone says the word transition as if it were the weather. You nod because the weather cannot be argued with. You're told to keep things steady during uncertainty. Steady in this context means ensuring the past does not linger long enough to complicate the future. You hear the rumor in that and swallow it. Your methods simplify. Fewer suggestions, more omissions. You discover that not delivering a message can be as effective as delivering the wrong one. A physician complains about shortages. You sympathize and do not fix them. An official postpones travel. You encourage rest. Paperwork improves. Outcomes follow. People stop using your name. They use your presence. She'll handle it, someone says, as if you were a process. You consider the promotion. Processes do not age, but they do get replaced. At supper, a clerk toasts to continuity. You toast to restraint. Laughter arrives on schedule. Later, a senior woman pulls you aside and congratulates you on surviving the shuffle. She adds lightly that survivors tend to become liabilities if they remember too much. You thank her for the warning. The joke lands because it is accurate. By 28, the court begins treating you like a document that has been read too many times. Not dangerous, exactly, just inconvenient to keep on the desk. Invitations become less, and access narrows. The tone shifts from confidence to courtesy again, which is how you know the ledger is being reviewed. Someone compliments your longevity. Longevity is not praise here. It is a question. Assignments now arrive wrapped in safeguards. More witnesses, more steps, fewer opportunities for coincidence. A physician insists on tasting first. A clerk insists on countersignatures. You are thanked for your patience. Patience, you notice, is what people request when they're deciding what to do with you. The humor grows careful. Jokes avoid endings. When a senior official quips that nothing lasts forever, nobody laughs. You do, lightly, because timing still matters. A woman newer than you asks how you've stayed so calm. You tell her the truth. Calm is cheaper than panic. She writes that down, then crosses it out. Intimacy becomes rare and formal. You're summoned for your presence and not effect. To be seen where stability is required. To be absent where risk might follow. The court likes symbols it can move without consequences. You are becoming a symbol with consequences. One afternoon, a clerk asks you to list your preferences for residence. She calls it contingency planning. You call it polite distance. The form offers options that are all the same distance away. You choose the one with the best light. The joke, such as it is, lands softly. Choices are offered when decisions are already made. You're 29 and the court begins removing you without announcing that anything is ending. It starts politely. A physician recommends fewer obligations. A monk suggests reflection. A clerk frames relocation as consideration. None of them look at each other when they speak, which tells you this was discussed already. You thank them because gratitude still functions here, even when relevance does not. You're moved to a residence outside the main court, close enough to be supervised, far enough to be forgotten. Guards are introduced as attendants. A stipend is arranged with impressive efficiency. You're told this ensures peace. For whom is left pleasantly vague. No accusation is made. Accusations create records. This creates distance. Days lose their purpose, meals arrive on time. Instructions, however, do not. Messages from the capital thin out and then stop. Occasionally, someone sends news that sounds like gossip, but reads like confirmation that the machine is still running without you. That's the joke. It never needed you personally. It only needed someone shaped like you. By the time you reach 31, the arrangement is permanent and no longer discussed. You're alive, maintained, and strategically irrelevant. The court calls this mercy. You recognize it as storage.